Hi there, Erica from Feel Your Core here. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you like what we do here, please like and subscribe. And remember, share, because fitness is always more fun with a friend. So a couple of weeks ago, I did a video about rotation. So today's gonna be anti-rotation. So I'm gonna work on getting that video linked here, fingers crossed. And so you can take a peek at that one, and you can combine those 3 exercises with these for a little bit of fun. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. You're gonna need a kettlebell, a dumbbell, and a band of any kind, okay? And if you don't have a kettlebell, don't worry, you can use the dumbbell. Let's get started. All right, so we're gonna get started with a kettlebell swing, all right? So grab your bell of choice. This one isn't terribly heavy for me, so it's gonna be challenging to keep the stability. So I'm using 15 pounds, but use whatever you're used to using. If you'd like to go heavy, you know I love to go heavy if your body is ready for it, okay? So again, single arm kettlebell swing. We wanna remember that the momentum, the strength is from the hip hinge. Okay, so my legs are a little bit wider than hip distance apart, and I'm gonna just let this hang here, and the anti-rotation piece is for me to be able to stabilize my abdominals, use my abdominals to stabilize me so I don't go left to right, all right? So I like to start in the little hinged position here, nice flat back, abdominals pulled in away from the floor. You can see I'm allowing my arm to just swing forward and back, almost like, like a pendulum. And then I'm going to pull my hips through, and then I just let the weight of the bell pull me back through, all right? So this is your swing. We're not hyperextending the back, all right? We're using the glutes for that hip extension. Let's do 5 and 3. I'm gonna switch in the middle, but you can totally stop if you want to. So at the top, I'm gonna switch arms so I can keep going, letting that heart rate be nice and high. I'm doing about 12 here. And again, abs in, exhaling as my hips come through, because that's my power piece. That's where I want my abs to help me out. Let's say it's 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. Then I'll let it slow down. That momentum stops. And we got another exercise coming up for you. Let's do it. So you'll notice that all of the exercises today, all 3, are standing. When you're looking, on the internet or something for anti-rotational exercises, you're gonna see a lot of plank-based ones, which is phenomenal. I just wanna give you a little twist on, what is considered an anti-rotation exercises. This way you can do these standing. Some of these you actually may be like, oh my gosh, I already do something like that. Like this next exercise, which is gonna be a single arm, single leg overhead press, okay? And you can realize, oh cool, I do these. And this is an anti-rotation exercises. So congratulations to you, you're getting it in, all right? So we're gonna start with those legs a little bit closer together, all right? And then I am going to balance on one leg. So not sure if you can see my legs in the frame. You can totally kickstand if balance is very challenging for you, which means right now I'm standing into my right leg and my left leg is bent and just the toes and the ball of my feet are down, but I can definitely feel the rest of the weight in my standing leg. If you're good on that, then you can start to bring the other leg off the floor. You want to think about pushing the inside of one leg against the inside of the blade edge of your foot, okay? So that's what I'm doing here. And then I'm just slowly getting into a balance that I can find challenging for me, which is probably right about here. Woo, hello. All right, and then from here, I am going to do my overhead press. So I'm gonna start here, and we're just pressing up and lowering. So remember, when it comes to overhead presses, like if you're really trying to stay in that deltoid, then you don't have to completely extend the arm at the top. Okay, definitely we're never wanting to hyperextend, but if you're wanting to stay more in the deltoid, you don't have to fully extend the arm, which means you have to really use that tricep to extend the arm. I am, because I want to get in that tricep work as well, okay? So we are, hello balance, hello, I can do it. Here we go, pulling it together, and we're going here, right? I think if you've watched some of my videos, we've talked about how when I talk and exercise, balance is challenging. All right, so I'm really focusing on pulling my inner thighs towards each other. Again, the inside of one leg against the inside line of that blade edge of the other foot. Okay, let's do 3 more here. Woo! 3. Exhaling as I go up. 2. And 1 more. We're gonna do it. Oh, we made it. Awesome. Shaking that out. So if you're like, oh my gosh, I feel out my feet, my ankles, my shins. Yes, because those muscles are working to stabilize you. So sometimes you're gonna be like, okay, this was an overhead press, but I feel it more, my feet and my ankles. That's because that's how hard those muscles are working to stabilize you. So totally fine. So let's go ahead and go on the other side, right? And I'm gonna take a couple nice deep breaths to find this balance, make sure I feel balanced. And then here we go. Pressing overhead. Woo-hoo-hoo. The left side for me is a bit challenging. I am right side dominant. So I think as I'm doing these, I'm gonna give you a couple cues about what I'm thinking of. Woohoo! So every single time I take this overhead, I tend to roll out onto the outside edge of my foot. All right, I want to stay in the entire foot. So you'll notice my tempo is a little slower. Okay, so we're gonna slow it down a little, and so I can stay in those connections. Let's go last 6. I'm exhaling. Woohoo, 5. 4. As I feel, the challenge of the balance. 3. That's when I kind of pull it in a little bit. 2. And the last one. Awesome. That's also why this is such a great anti-rotation exercise, because the body's trying to find its balance. All right, last exercise coming up. Okay, so for our final exercise, you can definitely do this on a cable machine. It's a Pallof press. You're always going to see a Pallof press if anybody talks about anti-rotation. We are going to just spin it a little bit with the ability to also take it overhead if you wish, okay? And so I have a band here. This one's like a continuous band, like one we like to use for pull-up assist, but you can definitely use one with a handle. Honestly, I chose this one just because I have a small space, and one with a handle would, you wouldn't be able to see me. So obviously this is instructional, so I want you to be able to see what I'm doing here. So got my band, and I'm just gonna clasp my hands together. I'm gonna start going out until I start to feel this pull. I'm feeling like I'm being pulled towards my fuse ladder here. All right, and then from here, I'm gonna give a soft bend to my knee, help me be a little bit stable. Outside edges of my feet are about hip distance apart. Okay, you can go wider for a more stable base. Abs are drawn in and up. Tailbone is down towards the floor. Crown of head is to the ceiling, getting length through the opposition. And this is a Pallof press we know. So I'm telling you already, I can totally feel the pull this way. All right, so this is a Pallof press we know. So knowing how this feels in my body, I'm actually gonna go ahead and take a step a little bit closer, okay? So that I can make sure that I'm still, you can see me still feeling the challenge, but making sure I'm able to stay into my connections, right? Which is abs drawn in, my head stacked over neck and shoulders and ribs and pelvis, okay? And then these last couple, I'm gonna go in a little bit and show you this overhead piece. So I press and then I lift out and in. That's the part that's challenging right here as I lift overhead, okay? So I know when I go overhead, I like to thrust my ribs forward. So I'm really thinking about that right here. Exhale, and hopefully I'm being a good example and I was able to stay stacked. All right, let's do the other side. So I'm gonna go ahead and just move my band over a little bit. All right. So again, gonna just start out with a couple of those Pallof presses that are just a little bit more challenging to the front, almost kind of to like warm up in this action. Let me clasp these fingers, I like that better. Okay, reaching. Again, length through opposition, right? That comes from my Pilates background. Crown of head reaching towards the ceiling, and I am thinking that like kind of from even like ribs up, reaching up, and then from bottom rib down, lengthening through that way, pushing the floor away, okay? So here come our couple. I'm gonna come in just a little bit, and we're gonna reach overhead, and pull in. Again, reach, lift, really feeling that resistance pull me towards my ladder as I go up. Last one, and in. That's why you hear that big exhalation. Remember, abs are muscles of expiration. So breathe. I like to tell my clients, fog up a mirror, right? So it comes from here, not so much a throaty breath. So that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, like if you like it, subscribe to help support us, and share with a friend. We'll see you next time. Bye.